Hi, welcome to Watch It Played Table Talk Back. My name is Rodney Smith. In this video, we're going to take a look at your responses to the question of whether or not being on a losing streak bothers you as a gamer. So let's dive in. King Player 14 says, I play a lot of cribbage online, and you can only work with the cards you're dealt. When I end up on a losing streak, I get mad at the game and gripe about the cards. But I know deep down, the cards will be cards, and I should just play my best. I'm sure we've all been there before. You get that bad hand of cards in whatever game it is, and you just feel kind of deflated because all of the options look bad. I guess one of the things you can do in that situation is just challenge yourself to do the best you can with that hand, because even a bad hand can be made worse if you don't play it well, right? And, you know, it doesn't always get you out of the mess or predicament that you're in, but it's probably more enjoyable than just throwing in the towel and giving up. And you never know, if you play that poor hand well, you may find the next hand you're in a much better position to do better for the rest of the game moving forward. Destrio says, I find myself feeling bad for winning too much at certain older games or doing more than someone else in a cooperative game. Could I coin the term winner's guilt for board gaming? Yes, Destrio, you can, you should, and I am going to steal that term. I don't like winner's guilt at all, but I have felt it on occasion. And I think the worst time to suffer from it is when you're trying to protect somebody else's feelings that you're beating, and if they won, they'd be celebrating and not at all concerned about how you feel. But I think winner's guilt does crop up from time to time. I wonder if any of you have experienced that before as well. Magnus Mercury, I think one of the biggest frustrations of a losing streak is when you don't know what you did wrong, or you can't figure out a different strategy for the next round. Part of the fun of gaming, for me, is a sort of problem solving, and no one likes to be stuck on the same problem indefinitely. One of the things that sometimes gets me down in a game is when I can't see the strategies and options on the table that other players seem to be able to see without any difficulty. I move my piece on the board and then suddenly my headquarters is vulnerable and the other player just marches in. And I didn't even see that could happen. How did I miss that? And I suppose part of it is, it's kind of an instant gratification problem or expectation, because yes, some players I find can sit down and they can understand the board much more quickly than I can. But if I was to stick with the game and play it a few more times, I would likely learn those strategies at the very least and learn from my mistakes, so I'd have more tools in my toolbox the next time I sat down to play. Vanilla Doll XXX says, I have a hard time losing to cocky players who like to rub it in, when in fact, they're just being lucky. I don't mind so much when skill comes with arrogance, but I also realize that the bad feeling never lasts. After half an hour or so, I don't really care anymore. That's just a good life principle, really. If you're having a strong emotional feeling, it's not a bad idea to kind of just back up a bit, give it some time to pass, and see if you're still feeling the same way. If you are, then it's probably a genuine feeling. Otherwise, it's maybe just something in the moment that you could otherwise handle better with a little bit of space. Now that said, I don't want to excuse people who are poor winners. Celebrate if you win, but don't be a jerk about it. Louis Derange says, the rare time losing bothers me is when a particular game mechanic makes it nearly impossible to win or catch up. Games with a rich get richer mechanic infuriate me. Might as well just play the first round of the game and be done with it. Now, despite what I said earlier, where if you get a bad hand, you should do your best. Challenge yourself to come up with the best strategy that you can with it. Yes, but if you're sitting and you're looking at several bad hands, turn after turn, and meanwhile your opponents are lining their pockets with gold and victory points, yeah, that can be very distressing and not fun at all. Elf Bankston says in another comment that it's like sitting there watching a train wreck in slow motion, and that's not enjoyable. Rulon says, I tend to switch between competitive and cooperative games during a gaming night. So after I lost a game to someone, I'll be working with everyone to win. And Tim Griffin said, I actually like losing co-op games. Winning those all the time makes the game feel easy. A cooperative game where you lose most of the time makes the win so much more exciting. I have to agree, I do really like a co-op game that poses a challenge that I feel like probably most times, maybe just over 50% of the time, I'm going to lose. So I have to really work for that win, and it does make it that much sweeter. Cardboard Geek says, for me, losing is a learning experience. I had this attitude hammered into me playing chess with an uncle who would never let me win, but would show me where I went wrong. This made the winning so much sweeter. I think this goes along the same lines as difficult co-ops. It's that delayed gratification in that situation that does make it enjoyable. It's good to learn how to lose games and not be disappointed by it, because when you do finally get that win, it will feel earned and you'll really feel like you accomplished something. It's kind of like I want that cake right now, but if I wait till after I get my chores done, I mow the lawn, paint the house, then that cake's going to taste delicious. Now I'm hungry. Sir FluteBoy02 says, I find losing several times consecutively in a two-player competitive game to the same person like being told repeatedly, you will never be as good as this person, no matter how hard you try. On the other hand, my opponent's winning streak was probably a negative experience for him as well, because I think most gamers are looking to win a close, challenging, fun game with an opponent of equal skill, not stomp on the same opponent for the dozenth time. I thought that was a really interesting way of looking at it. It kind of flips the whole question on its ear, because I think we probably more readily sympathize with the person who's losing, because we see the winner as having accomplished something good, and they're going to be happy and proud of themselves. But winning over and over and over again, I would think, has diminishing returns. It's the fact that you sometimes lose that, again, creates that challenge necessary to make the win fully enjoyable. I thought that was an interesting way of putting it, and it's certainly something I'm going to think about more often when maybe I'm getting a little frustrated that I'm losing to the same person over and over again. How are they feeling? Super Cheese says, Rodney, could you please say card? It sounds cool in your exotic Canadian accent. Thanks. I get this a fair bit. I know I have an accent. I must. Everyone has their own accent, but I can't hear the difference in the way that I say card compared to other people from North America, for example. I'm on the east coast of Canada, so there's going to be some distinctions because of that. But when I say card, does it sound different than lard and hard and bard? Or car and far and star? I don't know. I would love to hear what other people say and hear, because I can't hear the difference when I listen to other North Americans say it. I feel like I'm saying it the same way, but clearly I'm not. So anyway, I don't mind that people bring it up, but I wish I understood it. Jay Young, I admit to being a borderline annoying winner at times, but I'm often doing it more for show so that when I do lose, it's sweeter for the winner. That strategy could work, Jay, but it's kind of risky. You might want to think about that one twice. I think it probably works fine if you know your gaming group well enough and they know you well enough. Johannes Schizolt, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong there. I only play games for the fun of it, and winning is fun. Yes, I suppose it is. Gorgeous Popsicle says, being a poor winner-loser to me is also marked by those that just leave the table without helping to clean up the game. I've been left to clean up games like Small World with lots of small pieces by myself because the winner and loser just walked off to gloat or pout. I don't think this is worse than being a poor sport, but it's up there, maybe a close second or third. If you're one of those people that you don't find yourself cleaning up games after the fact, you're probably bothering somebody who is cleaning up the games. It's always a good idea to help out with that. Unless, of course, the person's very particular about how their games are put away. Sometimes I can be that way, in which case it's fine to not help out, but it's always nice to ask, and it's always nice to have someone offer to help. Pete Sheary says, when you play against someone who makes sure at every turn you know you're losing and that your last move was not smart, it does make losing harder and harder to swallow. Pete, that's so true. And you know what? Not only does it make it hard to lose to someone like that, it makes it hard to win against someone like that, because they're usually the first person who's going to complain when they lose that the game is broken or this or that card that you use so strategically is just overpowered. So either way, it's not very satisfying. Frenzy Kitty says, I very seldom win, and we have this running joke that when I finally win, balloons are going to burst out of the ceiling, fireworks are going to go off, and clowns are going to burst through the door singing at the top of their lungs. So one night, we were playing our third game, and I actually won. To my amazement, about a minute later, my girlfriend's dad burst through the door in full clown attire, singing a jolly song. I haven't laughed that much in years, and it's another amazing memory that I can cherish forever and otherwise wouldn't have if it weren't for this awesome hobby. So sometimes being on the losing streak can suck, but when you win, oh boy, is victory sweet. I just wanted to end on that story. I thought that was great. I want to thank you guys for participating in this discussion. There's more to the story, though. We have some video responses I want to share with you as well. And until the next episode, whether you win or lose, I hope you enjoy yourself. And thanks for watching.
So hey Rodney, it's Matt Summer here. I guess I had to record something here because I was apparently the inspiration for this thread. So, winning or losing, do I care, do I not care? I think what it comes down to is kind of what you're alluding to. It's situational to me. Am I going to care that I don't win a first time I ever play a game? It might bother me a little bit, but I'm rational enough to realize that I shouldn't really win unless it's a total luck fest of some sort. Am I going for blood when I'm teaching games to new players? No, again, not at all. I feel like I'm a little bit bigger than that as a person, I guess. You know, the thing that really gets me, I guess, what you're talking about is a game like Carcassonne, or something that I feel like I'm really good at. If I lose to someone who has much less skill than I do, at least I think so, it bothers me. And when I lose to someone that I feel is equally as skilled as I am, it also kind of bothers me. And I think that's more about the competitive fire and juices, or whatever you want to say. You know, I really think about, oh man, if only I would have done that, or I should have done that kind of thing. I think it always comes down to the fact that, you know, it's about, am I good enough? I thought I was better at this than I think I am right now, or I don't know what the deal is. But, you know, as you said, it does sting. And just for the record, it wasn't just that you beat me a bunch of times at Carcassonne in a row. It's like, I think you beat me at Stone Age, and then Carcassonne, and then a couple other games that we had played all in a row. So I was kind of halfway joking, kind of not, but in any case, I'm glad I could eke out a victory the last time.
Hey Rodney, just listened to your talkback episode about how we deal with losing in games. It's a strange one. I'm quite competitive by nature, particularly when I was younger. But for some reason, this doesn't necessarily translate to board games. I'm quite happy and quite used to losing. It did manifest itself when playing Nexus Ops, was probably the best example. I think due to the starting position, and it was the first time I ever played, and the random setup of those tiles, I found very early on that I was just in a completely losing situation, and there was pretty much no way back from it. And I found when I did there, I just completely shut down. I was very unengaged with the game. I still played, I still did my best, but it just didn't have that same excitement, and basically I just couldn't wait for the game to be over. So yeah, that tends to be my reaction. It tends to be disengagement rather than table flipping or rage quitting or anything like that. And in fact, sometimes I wonder, although we clamour for games that you know don't have elimination in them, maybe sometimes it's not a bad thing. So you're not just hanging on, waiting until everybody else who seems to be really having a lot of fun around the table finally finishes.
Now, it'd be very easy for me to say, I hate losing! But that's not true. I actually am quite a very good loser. I've lost more times than I've ever won. When I'm teaching new games, I would deliberately lose and point out strategies and skills to the other players so that they have a good advantage of winning. This way they can see all the mechanics in the game and how they work and how they interact, and they can see if they like this game or not. I will also deliberately handicap myself when I play against my 6-year-old daughter. This doesn't always guarantee that I will lose, but it guarantees that sometimes she will win, and sometimes she surprises me with some strategies that she pulls out of midair. When I'm playing competitively against the wife, now that's another kettle of fish. She is very competitive. I will try and play to win. And if I win, woohoo! If I lose, it's not the end of the world. If she loses, sometimes it jades how she feels about the game, whether she likes it or not. And if she loses at a game that she loves, she'll want a rematch. Win-win. This is the only game that I will never play again because I always lose against my wife. She knows the dials too well. A friend of mine introduced me to a game called Netrunner, and I played it. He showed me how to play it, and I won the first game. But all the subsequent games after that, I lost. And I kept coming back for more because there's something about the game which made me love it. And guess what I got for my birthday? Yes. So losing doesn't put me off a game. Gaming is about having fun. It's about interacting. It's about the jokes that come. And the jokes that keep coming up in conversations afterwards. Winning and losing are just the conclusion to the game. But I will say that I am a bad winner. You can tell I'm going to win because there's this smile that normal Barry does not do. But my sister, she knows this smile well, and she knows that I'm going to win or do something which will position me into the winning place. See, that's not even the winning smile that I have. So to conclude, losing is just part of the game, and if the game's fun and enjoyable and the people that you're playing with are having a good time, win-win.